Hello, Geminis, and welcome to this, your September 2024 reading and predictions. We are going to dive right in. Today, we are going to take a look at where you are at now, what's going on for you end of August, moving into September. We're going to take a look at what you're focusing on. What are you working on manifesting for the month of September? What you don't see coming, some challenges, and some messages from your guides or messages from the universe. Let's dive right in. Now, I do know that um, your last reading for last month, I had made a note on it that one of the instructions you had received from the universe was to really get clear on your intentions and then actually put it into action. You had moved beyond that point of sitting and manifesting in the realm of your living room, and you had moved into the realm of having to put it out into action in the physical world. Now, the first card that you have coming up in your reading today is the Karma card. Karma card. This card corresponds to the Judgment card from the Major Arcana. And this is a card of sitting in judgment of self. This isn't about sitting in judgment of others. This card calls upon you as you move out of August and move into September, Gemini. This card is calling upon you to pay really close attention. What worked for me in the past and what didn't work? What do I want to pull forward in my endeavors? So, for example, taking a really close look at your relationship to procrastination versus being proactive, right? And really getting honest with yourself, Gemini. Does procrastination serve my highest good when I am in the process of worrying about whether I'm going to be able to pay my rent? Obviously, the answer is no. Being proactive, getting out there, dusting off the resume, making sure that there are sufficient funds landing in your bank account every month to be able to pay the rent. All right. In a romantic situation, again, sit in judgment of self. What works? What doesn't work? And then make a choice about how you want to live your life, a very conscious choice. Okay. So that's where you're at. Probably as you're sitting watching this video, because this video gets released right at the end of August. All right, let's take a look at what you are focusing on and where you are putting your attentions. Oh my goodness, you have the procrastination card coming out. I'm going to hold on to that one, but there are a lot of other cards jumping out at this time. So I'm going to mix the rest of the cards up. There are two cards here as well that flipped over. All right. We'd already mentioned procrastination. It's funny that I mentioned procrastination in relation to the judgment card, and then you ended up with the procrastination card in your focus. Now, is that a bad thing? No, not necessarily. There are times when procrastination serves our highest good. This is a card that's known as procrastination or postponement. And this is a card of setting things aside for future contemplation or not being ready to actually take action yet. Because maybe the vision for the future is not quite clear yet. But again, Gemini, you were asked last month in your reading to really, really get a clear picture on what it was that you wanted to manifest and what you wanted to put out into the world. And then you were asked to take action. You had a number of wands cards coming out from the suit of fire, are ruled by the element of fire, which is about taking action. And then here you have obviously the judgment card is not just about procrastination. It is about karma. It's what works for me, what doesn't work for me, what I put out into the world comes back to me. That's what this card is about. But as an example, I used procrastination when describing that card, and then you ended up with a card that kind of signifies putting things off until tomorrow, postponing. And in fact, in the Osho Zen deck that I use, the Four of Cups is referred to as the postponement card. If you are interested in any of the decks that I use today, please check out the affiliate links down below if you're interested in purchasing any of the decks that I use. All right, so we do have a number of other cards. All right, so also in what you are focusing on. All right, one of the reasons that you may be postponing things here with this Four of Cups for what you're focusing on is you have the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is about feeling like you're being challenged by others. But when you're feeling like you're being challenged, like you feel like you have a clear picture of what it is that you want to put out into the world, Gemini, and yet friends, family, loved ones, people around you are saying, oh, I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if you should do that. When you're feeling challenged like that, it may be that you are postponing putting things out into the world because you're getting this advice from others. Now, having said that, you'll notice that the character on the card here is in a Zen-like meditation while she holds her wand. And she's got a number of wands here in front of her, almost creating like a fence or a barrier to her, putting something out into the world. But if she's able to maintain the Zen-like mental position that she has on this card, then she has the ability to overcome. When you are in this sort of Zen-like thoughtful position, as outlined on this card, and when you're in the process with this Four of Cups of postponing things, maybe meditating, you'll notice too, this character, as much as she doesn't look particularly happy, she is also in that place of quiet contemplation. You have the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is a card of seeing things from a different perspective, right? When you feel like you're being challenged, Gemini, it's because those people are coming from their perspective, not yours. They haven't lived your life. They haven't walked in your footsteps. I've got that saying, it's an old adage from the indigenous community, and I'm probably going to misquote it, and I do apologize for that. But it's something that stuck with me. It's something that I was taught when I first went out to We Tongues. Shout out to everyone over at We Tongues. I can leave a link down below for We Tongues. They are a gift shop on a reservation in Ontario near where I grew up and spent many of my summers. And they offered tours years ago with teachings about their lives. And one of the teachings, I remember it, was you do not have the right or permission to criticize another until you have walked at least 3 full moons in his moccasins. And I'll never forget that. And I was probably 6 or 7 years old when that came up. So that is part of what's coming up for me for you, Gemini, in regards to this card, the Hanged Man card. Okay. The Hanged Man card is about being able to see the perspective of the other person. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have to take their advice. It doesn't mean that you have to listen to exactly what it is they are saying. Sure, absolutely. Take it under advisement, but remember the perspective that anyone who is coming to you and criticizing you for your hopes and dreams, for your plans, for your intentions, for what you choose to put out into the world. Remember, they are coming from their perspective. They haven't walked in your moccasins. They haven't walked in your shoes. They don't know what went on behind closed doors. So, just another example, oftentimes when people are going through a breakup, and I'm not saying that this reading is about a breakup for Geminis. Don't get me wrong. I'm just using this as an example. Oftentimes when people um, are in the early stages of a breakup, people will come to them and go, "Well, I don't know what you saw that was wrong with him, or I don't know what was wrong with her. I mean, things always look good from the outside." Right. Because you didn't see what was going on behind closed doors. So remember, when you're feeling challenged and feeling like you're being criticized for the life that you are choosing to live, Gemini, remember, see it from their perspective. Okay. That doesn't mean that you have to, you know, take their advice at heart, but it does mean that perhaps you can be a little bit more compassionate towards their point of view while maintaining your own zen and being able to move out of that and go ahead. And the reason that I'm going into all of this is because in what you want to manifest, what you are working towards manifesting is the 10 of cups. And in the tarot, there are 3 cards that are considered the happiest cards in the deck. In this order: the Sun, the Star, and the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is referred to as the happily ever after card. This is the card of, I have achieved what I wanted to achieve. I am where I want to be in my life. I have set intentions, I've set goals, and I've achieved them. And I feel good about myself. So, this is about setting an intention, setting a goal, and actually achieving it there, Gemini, regardless of the criticisms. Like when you can see someone's criticizing you, recognize that's because of the path that they've walked. It has nothing to do with you. Let's move into your difficult influences and challenges. So, for those of you, Gemini, who are new to the channel, I am a psychic and an intuitive. I have my whole life of experience doing this kind of work. But I am also a certified hypnotherapist and a certified intuitive counselor. So that's why I dive or delve deeper into these cards and into the readings than perhaps some of the other readers that you might see, because I also work in the realm of counseling and giving helpful advice and suggestions and sometimes constructive criticisms to my clients. And I do have openings coming up in September. So if you are interested in working with me one on one, all of my contact details are down below. All right, diving into your difficult influences and challenges, you have the Two of Cups. Two of Cups is a card of friendliness, but it is also a card of recognizing our differences. So you'll notice here that there's 2 trees. The trees are obviously different types of trees, just given the color of the leaves on the trees. And we know that trees share information through their roots, and it doesn't matter which species of tree it is. We know pine trees communicate with maple trees, who communicate with poplar trees if they are all planted in close proximity with each other. Well, at the same time, they maintain their individuality above the ground. Is this kind of playing into what we were talking about over here, that you may have set some intentions that not everyone is in agreement with over here, but when you can recognize their differences and still be able to move ahead and be yourself, you can move mountains, Gemini. Now, this card's coming up in your difficult influences. So it is a question of recognizing that even though there may be differences, you still need to communicate and be friendly with others. And that's going to open the door to new possibilities for you. Also, in your difficult influences, you have the Seven of Cups. And it's interesting as well that whenever a two comes up in the tarot, two is about making decisions and choices. So you're going to have decisions or choices that need to be made specifically relating to a relationship and potentially making a decision to either take or not necessarily take the unsolicited advice you're getting from family and friends at this time. You have the Seven of Cups coming in here. Now, the Seven of Cups is a card of also needing to make a decision or a choice, but this card is about other people projecting their decisions, choices, intentions on you. We just finished talking about that without ever having the projections card come up. Now the projection card has come out. What can I say? This is about you needing to make decisions and choices for yourself and stop listening to all the chatter. This is in your difficult influences and challenges, Gemini. So during the month of September, you're going to want to, you can listen to other people's advice and suggestions, take it under advisement. But remember, other people's advice and suggestions, they are coming from walking in their moccasins, not yours. You have the breakthrough card here. You are definitely headed towards a breakthrough moment in the month of September. But I think that this coming up in your difficult influences came up in your difficult influences because you're resisting breaking through or breaking away from familial and generational patterns. I'm really picking up, I mean, you've got the Hanged Man, the Friendliness card, the Seven of Cups. This is, and you're postponing making decisions for yourself at this time. And I really feel like there is a generational or a familial block that you're bumping up against. And when you're able to finally break free from that, Gemini, yeah, you're going to have this breakthrough and you're really, really going to move quickly towards this 10 of Cups, this happily ever after card. But you're going to have that breakthrough first. All right, let's take a look at messages from the universe. Messages the universe wants you to hear at this time. Okay. So the first card that jumped out in Messages from the Universe for Gemini is Understand Your Body. Now, whenever this card comes up, I recommend that people pay close attention to their health during the upcoming month. I am not a doctor. I am not a lawyer. I'm not certified to give you formal medical advice. What I can give you is good common sense advice. During the month of September, pay close attention to your health. You're going to want to make sure that you are properly hydrated, good high quality water. You're going to want to make sure that you are eating lots of your fruits and your veggies. Make sure you wash them in good high quality water first. Get all those herbicides and pesticides off of them. Um, make sure that you are eating a balanced diet and not having too many French fries. That's what comes up when this message comes out. Understand your body. Pay close attention as well to how your, oh, okay. I just had an image flash for me, Gemini. During the month of September, you may want to consider doing a food journal for yourself. I'm picking up that some of you may be experiencing some reactions to some of the various foods that you're eating in your diet. And you might not consciously realize that there's a correlation between what goes in here and how you feel the next day. And I just had this image just blow by in my mind's eye as I was talking about understanding your body of a food journal. So if you're unfamiliar with a food journal, it's basically diarizing what you've eaten, and then the very next day, just scrolling down, scribbling down a couple of brief notes about how your body's feeling and how you're feeling emotionally. And then at the end of the month, you go back and you say, oh, when I eat pork, it makes me feel tired and lethargic the next day. Oh, when I eat a nice, great big organic salad, it makes me feel enthusiastic about going and doing whatever. All right. Now, and those are just examples. I'm not saying I'm not trying to plant any seeds here. I'm just saying with that card coming up, understand your body, Gemini, you're definitely going to want to be paying close attention to your physical health during the month of September. Your thoughts create your reality is your next message from the universe. Yeah, absolutely. Your thoughts create your reality. So if you're thinking, oh, that's never going to happen, guess what? It's never going to happen. You just manifested that by blurting that out. Oh, that's not going to happen. If you're thinking, oh my goodness, I am totally entitled to a happily ever after, to abundance, to a beautiful partner, to a house and home that's filled with love and light and laughter, and if if that's what you want to manifest, believe that you can manifest it. Your thoughts create your reality. And finally, learn from your mistakes. Yeah, don't beat yourself up about your mistakes, Gemini, but rather learn from your mistakes. Okay, what do you not see coming? Let's take a look. The unexpected for Gemini in September. What does Gemini not see coming? Unexpected. Unexpected. What's unexpected for Gemini? Oh, we have one card. Anything else? Two cards. And that's it. Okay. Unexpected. Oh my goodness, we have the Hangman again. And we have the Moon. Two major arcana cards, which means that there is definitely something big coming up for you in September that you don't see coming. And the interesting thing is that with the moon has two sides, a dark side and a light side. So it's about paying attention to the phases, paying attention to if this, then that. And we already had an example of if this, then that with regards to keeping a food journal, right? And okay, we've already talked about the Hanged Man, but let's dive into the Hanged Man one more time for your unexpected. There is something coming up, absolutely, with the Hanged Man twice that you need to see from a completely different perspective, Gemini. In the month of September, in order for you to be able to move forward and manifest this happily ever after, you need to see things from a different perspective. And I really, really believe that based on all of these other cards that have come out, one of the things that you need to see from the different perspective is that those who have been critical of your hopes, dreams, and desires and manifestations are coming from their place, from their path, not from the path or the journey that you've walked. And when you learn that lesson and integrate that lesson and accept, yes, thank you for the advice, thank you for the guidance, and then you decide to go off in whatever direction you choose, which may be the complete opposite to the advice that you were given, or it may be to actually follow some of that advice, whatever you choose. It is your choice because it is your path, it is your journey, not theirs. I really, really sense with all my being that that is your lesson for the month of September. You have the moon. Now, as I mentioned, the moon is about phases. We all know that the moon has a dark side and a light side. So watch for dualities coming up And you already have something about dualities here with regards to the Two of Cups, right? And choices. I do want to say with the Judgment card and the Karma card, right? That's about duality as well. Also, this card happens to be card number XX. It's about duality, two sides to everything. So pay close attention to that. Also, with the moon coming up, pay attention to things that are unseen during the month of September. And you're going, well, if I can't see them, how do I know they're there? The moon is a call towards paying attention to our dreams, to our intuitions, to paying attention to perhaps one of our other senses that we may not rely on as our primary, but there may be valuable information coming in. So most of us rely upon sight and vision. That is, for most of us, we rely on our sight and our vision for the information that we have about the world around us. But we have five other senses. We have at least six senses. So if we're relying predominantly on one sense out of six, we're missing out on a whole bunch. So, Gemini, during the month of September, begin to pay attention to your other senses as well, to the unseen world. Let's take a look at your final general overall outcome. Final general overall outcome for Gemini. There's something coming up for you with regards to having to make a decision about a relationship. Yeah. Yeah. Nine of Wands, feeling like you're challenged. Seven of Wands, feeling like you're challenged. Yep. King of Cups. Okay. In your final general overall outcome, Gemini, you have the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is the same card as this one. It's about needing to make a choice or a decision about a relationship. It's about staying friendly in the choices and recognizing each other's differences. There is absolutely something coming up with a relationship that you have, not necessarily romantic relationship, but some kind of interpersonal interaction. The dynamic within a friendship, a romantic partnership, a familial relationship is going to be changing or shifting during the month of September because you are changing and growing. And the other person is being somewhat critical and challenging you. Now, it's interesting here because you have the Nine of Wands here in what you are looking at manifesting, and you have the Nine of Wands in your final general overall outcome as well. Interesting, right? Like, what are the chances? You've got a lot of double cards here, Gemini. Oh, gee, Gemini, the twins. You have three repeat cards in your reading. The Two of Cups, the Nine of Wands, and the Hanged Man. All right. Again, Seven of Wands is about feeling like you're being challenged. King of Cups is about moving into a new relationship dynamic with someone on a deeper level. It is about integrating the divine masculine into the divine feminine for the purposes of finding balance in a relationship. And finally, you have the 10 of Pentacles. So over here, you had the 10 of Cups, your happily ever after, which is what you are working on manifesting. And here you have the 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles, again, is about finding your happily ever after, but also this card goes one step further and says, once you found your happily ever after, make sure you're also putting something aside for a rainy day. So I'm going to leave off your your reading there. Please like and subscribe, and I look forward to the honor of being able to do your next reading for you in October.